Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say. Mother. Mother.
Oh,
Can you
no.
keep them in the dark alive?
What?
Can you hide them from a waiting world? Oh, mother. Father. Gonna take your daughter out tonight. Gonna show her my world. Oh, mother. Not allowed.
Welcome to Privileged White Male Radio. My name is Rod. rodgraphing@gmail.com. Well, I noticed one thing that's for sure. The audio quality is much better when I'm laying naked in my sleeper like I was last night. This sucks. The truck noise is atrocious. Still haven't overcome that one yet. On the podcast today, this is going to be a quickie. Just a real in and out. Just a little thought-provoking little tidbit on something I just heard on the news at the top of the hour. I heard about this Taliban leader that was killed in Pakistan. Mullah Mansour, I guess was his name. He's been leading the Taliban since 2013. And they got him. And everybody's just happy as pigs in shit. Got this guy. That's fucking fantastic. Now, I'm not going to diminish the special forces that were flying unmanned drone aircraft that took this guy out. I mean, we could get into the whole argument about video game warfare, but hey. Fact is, mission accomplished. Took out a bad guy. So that's good. But if you look at this whole thing from a different perspective, and that's what I want to try to do here. Here's what I heard. This guy's been leading the Taliban. What's the Taliban? We all know the Taliban. The basically version of Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. The hardline Muslim fundamentalist extremists shooting women in vacant soccer fields, stoning women in the town square. We've heard all the stories. We know the I guess, excuse me, the evil nature of what the Taliban is. Taliban were at the heart and soul of why we went to war after 9/11, especially in Afghanistan. We've heard time and time again, a lot of people supported us going into Afghanistan and taking care of business, but Iraq was a mistake. Well, it's 2016. We've lost how many American lives over in the Middle East? Afghanistan, Iraq, and now Syria. I could get into that whole thing too. Maybe I'll touch on that at the end. We went to war. We basically got rid of Saddam Hussein. We tried to force democracy on the Iraqi people. We see how well that's worked out. And we can argue all day long about whether we should have gone to war or weapons of mass destruction. We could even argue about current U.S. policy and how it's led to the rise of ISIS. That we basically spilled American blood for what we thought was a righteous cause. And then basically turned tail and left before the job was finished. I think we could all have that argument, depending on which side of the political spectrum we're on. But let's shit can all that for a minute. Let's put all that off to the side. Let's not have that argument. It's old, it's tired, it's hack. There's no winners and losers in that one. You've already formed an opinion, one way or another. Let's look at it from this perspective. It's 2016. This guy's been heading up the Taliban in Afghanistan, and Pakistan for that matter, since 2013. That's, by my math, 3 years. We went to war when? When did we start this whole thing? Shortly after 9/11, 2001, right? Over 10 years. Over 10 years we've been pissing around over there in the Middle East. In one way or another. And we're still there today. We're sending our drones in now to, we don't actually have boots on the ground. Now we're death from above. A couple young guys, highly trained, skilled professional soldiers in probably Las Vegas somewhere, sitting in a trailer house type building, flying aircraft to take out these bad guys. Do you honestly think the United States is, for all intents and purposes, the biggest, baddest military machine on the face of the earth? That's a fact. That's not even arguable. Yeah, I know. China. Yeah, Russia's got, yeah, okay. Even if you want to go down that road, which I believe is nothing but a bunny trail that leads nowhere. The United States military is one of the biggest, baddest military machines on the face of the earth. But yet we've been fucking around with all this bullshit over in the Middle East for how many years now? Why isn't it finished? Why are we still doing it? Why is it still happening? Is like the Taliban and Al Qaeda, now known as ISIS, are these such badass groups? We just can't. The way that they fight, it's insurgency and hiding in the shadows, and women and children and schools and hospitals. We just can't. No, that's not it. That's not it. I don't think there's too many people, especially in the United States of America, that don't understand that if the United States were to bring all of its force to bear upon any other military might in the world, we could end it in a very, very short amount of time. Don't you think? Let's be honest with each other for just a minute. If we wanted all this shit to go away in the Middle East, like, say, within a year, I think we could all agree that we could do it. We could put a stop to it. It would be ugly. It would be brutal. There would be a lot of dead people. A lot of dead, innocent people. If we really, really wanted to put our foot down, so to speak, and be done with this once and for all, we could. And I know there's the America people. I think we all just ought to turn it into a big old pile of glass, drop nukes on all them fucking sand. Yeah, I hear you too. And I'm not talking about that. I'm not. I'm specifically talking about using our military for its intended purpose, killing people, and blowing shit up. That's what it's there for. If we turned it loose, it'd be over in a very short amount of time. Now, I understand that's not how America works, is it? That's not part of America's principles. We're better than that. And I agree with that. I'm in no way advocating that we should do that. I'm in no way sitting here saying, how come we haven't? I'm not questioning anything. Granted, if I were to go back down the bunny trail that leads to nowhere and really start to want to have that kind of argument, I guess I could. But for this conversation that I'm having with you right now, I'm not going down that road. I'm just saying we could all pretty much agree that's not who the United States is. We don't just go in willy-nilly and just start destroying things and people. What if the shoe was on the other foot? What if this was all flipped around? What if the Taliban had the capabilities that the United States has? What if they had a big, badass military machine? What do you think they would do? Think they would treat this situation the same exact way that we are? I highly doubt it. Matter of fact, I don't even highly doubt it. I know for a fact they wouldn't. What about ISIS? You think if ISIS had the kind of power that we over here in America had, or even the kind of power a smaller country wields when it comes to warfare, do you think that those people would use the kind of restraint and exercise the kind of restraint that we do? Of course they wouldn't. They would absolutely use every single opportunity and method that they could to win, to make their point. Victory. That's what they want. And what is that? What is that to them? Domination. Their way of life imposed on everyone else. And some could even argue they're fighting for freedom. Okay, but the fact is, even if they were fighting for a noble cause, I'm sure they believe their cause is of the utmost nobility. They obviously, they're not a bunch of criminals. They're not a bunch of thugs. I guess the argument could be made maybe that some of them are. But for the most part, they're fighting for a cause. Just like we fight for a cause. And have fought for causes throughout how many different wars in the United States. All I'm saying here is the American people have forgotten what warfare was really like. World War II. Vietnam. The way it's done now is so clean and surgical compared to what it used to be that we don't even understand the nature of this game anymore. Drones from how many thousands of feet? Not an American life in any of them. No risk. And that's good. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. But I am saying that it's far different than what we're used to. And I'm just trying to make the point. If the shoe was on the other foot, if the people that we are fighting against had a sliver of the power that we wield, they wouldn't hesitate to use it against us. And I think that speaks a lot to the fact that we're really not in this to win this. It even makes me wonder, conspiratorially, why is this being drug out for so long? Why are we still there? What's the real reason? As I said earlier, Syria. Certain news story a little earlier today. That General Votel, I guess is his name, some special forces guy that really knows his shit, headed on over to Syria to talk to some of these guys on the ground who are training the Syrian Democracy Force or some shit. Kurds and a bunch of Syrian Arabs to fight ISIS. And they're being trained by our special forces to fight. They're being trained to use AK-47s. Well, I don't know. I kind of thought that most of the people over there already knew how to use those based on what I see on TV quite a bit. But apparently not. Apparently we're teaching them sharpshooting and other methods. We're honing their skills, I guess. So that they can launch an offensive against the ISIS stronghold of, was it Ramadi? I'm not sure. Whatever town it is in Syria that they claim as their capital. That was just announced on CNN. Now, it was very secretive. The reporter, Barbara Starr, we can't tell you where, we can't show you anything, and you can't see anything. Our cameras are restricted because it's top secret. But here's what's going to happen.